I wasn't supposed to be there, at least not according to the saleswoman's eyes. The moment I walked into the boutique, her smile stretched like fabric about to tear. It was a beautiful store, exposed brick, hanging lights, indie music. My store. But she didn't know that. "Can I help you?" The question sounded like a challenge. I touched a burgundy dress, one of my favorite designs. She appeared beside me like an alarm. "That piece is from our premium collection. I'm not sure we have your size." She didn't ask my number, didn't check inventory, just looked at my body and decided. I heard a muffled laugh from the counter. I wanted to leave, but something kept me there. Maybe pride, maybe exhaustion from always running. What they didn't know, every brick in those walls was mine. Every light, every piece. The business card in my bag had their names too, on payroll, under my signature. That day I learned, power doesn't need to announce itself. It can wait and let people reveal who they really are when they think no one important is watching. I never liked shopping for clothes. Growing up in the 90s, the plus-size section was always in the back, past the mannequins, past the trendy pieces, tucked away like a shameful secret. I learned early that the world has sizes for everything: jeans, shoes, worth. And I was always too big for the ones that mattered most. My grandmother used to tell me, "Walk in like you own the place, baby girl. Head up, shoulders back." She meant it figuratively. I didn't know then that one day I'd walk into a store and literally own it. I built my business from scratch, from a sewing machine in a Brooklyn studio, from late nights after restaurant shifts, from a Tumblr blog that somehow went viral. Clothes for women like me, women who'd been told fashion wasn't for them. By 35, I'd done it. 3 boutiques, features in Vogue, a waiting list for custom pieces. I called it Vesper, after the evening star that doesn't ask permission to shine. That day, I walked into my newest location unannounced. No power suit, no entourage. Just vintage Levi's, a Target t-shirt, and the exhaustion of running a business while proving you deserve to exist. I wanted to see what happened when a customer who looked like me walked in. To know if my mission, "Every body deserves to feel beautiful," was alive in the store or just printed on shopping bags. The girl behind the counter didn't greet me. Her glance traveled from my face to my stomach to my thighs, 3 seconds that felt like hours. I watched her decide in real time how much effort I was worth. But that day, I wasn't there to be seen. I was there to see. I moved slowly through the racks, running my fingers over fabrics I'd personally selected. The saleswoman, her name tag said Madison, followed me at a distance, rearranging hangers that didn't need rearranging, creating the illusion of work while actually just monitoring me. Like I was a shoplifter instead of a customer. Like my body was a threat instead of a person. I recognized every piece in that store. The emerald wrap dress with the subtle brocade pattern. I designed that after my best friend's wedding, frustrated that nothing beautiful existed for plus-size bridesmaids. The high-waisted trousers in burgundy velvet. Those were inspired by 1940s menswear, cut to celebrate curves instead of apologizing for them. The silk blouses in jewel tones, the structured blazers, the flowing maxi dresses. Each one was an answer to a question I'd asked myself 1,000 times. Why doesn't this exist for bodies like mine? I touched the burgundy dress again, the one Madison had warned me about. Up close, I could see the hand stitching on the collar, work I'd outsourced to a seamstress in Queens who charged what she was worth and did impeccable work. "That one doesn't come in your size," Madison said again, appearing at my elbow like a department store ghost. Her smile was polite, pleasant, and poisonous all at once. "We only carry it up to a 2X, and I don't think—" "Can you check?" I interrupted gently. "I'm a 2X." She looked at me, really looked. Her eyes said liar before her mouth said, "I'll see what we have in the back." She didn't go to the back. I watched her walk to the computer behind the counter, click around for maybe 10 seconds, and return. "Nothing in your size, sorry." She didn't sound sorry. She sounded satisfied, like she'd proven something. I nodded and thanked her anyway, because politeness becomes a reflex when you've spent your life apologizing for your body's existence. When you've learned that showing anger makes you difficult and showing hurt makes you too sensitive. Madison returned to the counter where a younger associate, blonde, probably fresh out of Fit or Parsons, with that particular brand of effortless cool that comes from never having to try, was organizing tissue paper. I heard them whisper. Couldn't make out the words, but I didn't need to. I knew the tone. I'd heard it in every store I'd ever entered, every restaurant where I'd asked for a table, every airplane where I'd tried to squeeze into a seat designed for bodies that don't exist. The younger girl, her name tag said Chloe, glanced at me and then away quickly, but not before I caught the smirk. That particular expression that says, "Can you believe she thought she could shop here?" I stood in front of the full-length mirror near the dressing rooms. The lighting was intentionally flattering. I'd specified warm-toned LEDs instead of harsh fluorescents, wanting women to see themselves kindly. But in that moment, under their gazes, even the kind lighting couldn't protect me from feeling like an intruder. Like I'd wandered into a space I was meant to admire from outside, nose pressed against the glass like a kid looking at toys she couldn't have. I heard another whisper behind me. This time I caught a few words. "Why even bother?" Followed by stifled laughter. My reflection stared back at me. 43 years old, successful by any reasonable measure, creator of the very space I was standing in. And still, in that moment, I felt 14 again. Fat and unwanted and wrong. But I didn't leave, because leaving would have meant letting them win, confirming what they believed about women like me, that we don't belong in beautiful spaces, that we should be grateful for whatever scraps of fashion the industry throws our way, that our bodies are problems to be hidden rather than people to be dressed. So I stayed. I walked slower. I touched more fabrics. I claimed my right to exist in that space, even as every glance and whisper tried to erase me. I didn't know it then, but that moment, that small, quiet act of refusing to disappear, would become the story that changed everything. After what felt like hours but was probably 15 minutes, Madison approached me again. Her customer service smile was back in place, slightly tighter than before. "Did you want to try anything on?" The question had an expiration date attached to it. She was ready for me to leave. I looked at her, really looked. She was young, maybe 26, 27. Probably had a degree in fashion merchandising or marketing. Definitely had student loans and dreams of one day working at a real fashion house, not a boutique in Brooklyn. She had no idea she was already working for someone who'd made it. She just couldn't see it because I didn't look the way success was supposed to look. "Yes," I said simply. "I'd like to try the wrap dress, the one in forest green." Something flickered across her face. Surprise, maybe, that I wasn't leaving. Or annoyance that I was making her do her job. She led me to the dressing room, her heels clicking on the concrete floor with an urgency that said, "Hurry up." I'd specified these dressing rooms carefully. Larger than standard, with seats, multiple hooks, lighting that didn't make you hate yourself. But none of those design choices mattered when you were being rushed by someone who'd already decided you weren't worth their time. "Let me know if you need anything," Madison said, pulling the curtain closed. The fabric was a heavy linen blend. I remembered ordering it, wanting something substantial that would actually provide privacy. Inside the dressing room, I stood for a moment, just breathing. The dress hung on the hook, my design, my vision, my answer to years of being told I didn't deserve beautiful things. I took off my shirt and jeans, caught my reflection in the mirror, another warm-lit, thoughtfully placed mirror meant to be kind. But Madison's judgment had followed me in, invisible but heavy. I pulled the dress over my head. The fabric was as beautiful as I'd remembered, a deep jewel-tone green that would look gorgeous on literally anyone. The wrap style was forgiving and flattering, designed to celebrate different body types rather than demand one specific shape. I reached behind to tie it. The movement was awkward. Wrap dresses always are, that strange contortion required to secure them. My arm got twisted, the fabric bunched weirdly, and for a moment I was stuck. Through the curtain, I heard it. Soft laughter, barely contained. "Do you need help in there?" Madison's voice, dripping with false concern. The subtext was clear. "Are you stuck? Did you really think this would work?" My face burned, not from exertion, but from humiliation. That specific, shame that comes from being laughed at for the crime of having a body. I managed to get the dress situated. It actually fit perfectly, because of course it did, I'd designed it to. But the laughter had poisoned the moment, made me see myself through their eyes instead of my own. I looked in the mirror. The dress was beautiful. I looked beautiful, but I couldn't feel it anymore. Their cruelty had stripped away any joy. I took the dress off carefully, slowly. Not because I was sad, though I was, but because I was making a decision about what came next, about how this story would end. I folded it neatly, precisely, every corner aligned. A small act of control when everything else felt chaotic. When I emerged from the dressing room, both Madison and Chloe were at the counter, their heads close together, whispering. They sprang apart when they saw me, suddenly very interested in something on the computer screen. "How was it?" Madison asked, her tone careful now. Maybe she'd realized she'd gone too far, or maybe she just wanted this interaction to be over. "It fit perfectly," I said, meeting her eyes. "The design is really thoughtful. Whoever created this really understands women's bodies." A flicker of confusion crossed her face. "Oh, well, I'm glad you liked it." "I didn't say I liked it," I corrected gently. "I said it fit. There's a difference. It's hard to like something when you don't feel welcome while wearing it." The confusion deepened. She didn't understand what I was saying, or maybe she did and was pretending not to. I handed her the dress. "You might want to check the inventory system. It said you didn't have my size, but this is a 2X and it's been hanging in the dressing room. Might be a system error worth reporting to management." My voice was calm, professional, the tone of someone who gives instructions rather than receives them. Madison's eyes narrowed slightly, trying to place where she knew that voice from. "I'll definitely mention it," she said, her customer service smile straining at the edges. "Good. And you might want to consider how the staff interacts with customers. I'm sure the owner would be interested to know how women are treated in her store." Chloe, who'd been pretending to be invisible, finally spoke up. "The owner is pretty hands-off. I don't think she'd care about one complaint." I smiled at her. Really smiled. "Oh, I think she might care about this one." I pulled a business card from my wallet. Heavy cardstock, matte black with raised gold lettering. Our logo, a simple evening star, embossed in the center. I placed it on the counter between us. Madison's eyes dropped to it, then widened. "Vesper," the card read, and below it, "Founder and CEO." I watched the color drain from her face, watched Chloe's hand fly to her mouth, watched the exact moment they realized they'd been cruel to the woman who signed their paychecks. "I'll be back tomorrow," I said quietly. "We're going to talk about customer service training. All of us. Together. I turned and walked out, leaving them frozen behind the counter. The bell above the door chimed softly as I left, a sound I'd chosen specifically, wanting every exit and entrance to feel ceremonial. Outside, the Brooklyn afternoon hit me with all its noise and chaos. But beneath it, I felt something else. Clarity. Purpose. The beginning of change. I didn't sleep that night. Lay in my apartment in Fort Greene, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment, every laugh, every look, every assumption. My partner, Jamie, found me at 2 a.m. in the kitchen, eating ice cream straight from the container. Can't sleep? They laughed at me in my own store, I said, in the space I built specifically so women wouldn't have that experience. Jamie, who'd been with me since the sewing machine days, who'd watched me cry over every rejection and celebrate every small victory, sat down across from me. What are you going to do? I don't know. Fire them? Shame them publicly? Post about it and watch the internet tear them apart? You could, Jamie said carefully. But is that what you want your brand to be? Public call-outs and canceled employees? I thought about that. About the women who followed our Instagram, who wore our clothes, who messaged me photos of themselves smiling in dresses that actually fit. Women who'd finally found a brand that didn't make them feel like an afterthought. No, I said finally. I want to teach them. I want them to understand. Not just that they could lose their jobs, but why what they did was wrong. The next morning, I called my assistant, Marcus. Cancel my meetings today. I'm going to Brooklyn. The Williamsburg store? Yes. Don't call ahead. I want to just show up. I could hear his smile through the phone. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I dressed differently than the day before. My CEO armor, tailored blazer from my own collection, perfectly cut trousers, statement necklace, hair and makeup done. The version of myself that commanded rooms. When I walked into the store at 11 a.m., Madison was helping a customer, an older woman looking at scarves. She glanced up at the sound of the bell, and I watched her face cycle through emotions. Confusion, recognition, horror. I'll be with you in just a moment, she called out, her voice shaking slightly. Take your time, I said pleasantly. I'll be here. I browsed the store I knew by heart, watching Madison try to focus on her customer while stealing glances at me. The older woman eventually left with a scarf and a smile, oblivious to the tension filling the space. Chloe emerged from the back room carrying boxes of inventory. She saw me and actually dropped them. The sound of the boxes hitting the floor made Madison jump. Good morning, I said to them both. Is the manager in? She had a dentist appointment, Madison stammered. She'll be back around 1. Perfect. That gives us time to talk. Could you flip the sign to closed for an hour? But we're supposed to... I'm not asking, I said gently. Close the store. Chloe moved to the door like a robot, flipping the sign. The store suddenly felt smaller, quieter. Just the three of us and the truth that needed to be said. I sat on the velvet bench near the dressing rooms, a vintage piece I'd found at a flea market in Hudson. Sit down, please. They sat, perched on the edge of the bench like students called to the principal's office. Yesterday, I began. I came in here as a customer. I wanted to see how it felt to shop in this space as someone who looks like me, someone who wears plus sizes, someone who doesn't fit the traditional fashion industry standard. Madison opened her mouth to speak, but I held up a hand. I'm not here to listen to excuses. I'm here to tell you what happened from my perspective, and then we're going to talk about why it matters. For the next 10 minutes, I laid it out. Every small cruelty, every assumption, every laugh I'd heard through the dressing room curtain. The worst part, I said, wasn't that you were rude. It's that you probably don't even think you were. You were just being normal, just treating a fat customer the way fat customers are always treated. Right? Madison's eyes were wet. I know you didn't mean it, I interrupted. That's the problem. This is so normalized that you don't even see it as cruelty. You see it as just how things are. Chloe finally spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. Are you going to fire us? I looked at her, really looked. She was maybe 23, still learning how the world worked, still figuring out who she wanted to be. That depends, I said. Are you willing to learn? The store manager, Sophie, arrived 20 minutes later. She was in her late 30s, had been with me since the second store opened, and I'd trusted her completely. When she walked in and saw me sitting with her staff, all the blood drained from her face. What's going on? Her voice was careful, controlled. Close the door and sit down, Sophie. We need to talk. I explained everything, watched her expression shift from confusion to understanding to something that looked like grief. I'm so sorry, she said when I finished. I had no idea this was happening. But you should have, I said, not unkindly. You're the manager. It's your job to create a culture where this doesn't happen, where every customer, regardless of their size, feels safe and welcome. You're right. Sophie looked at Madison and Chloe, who were both crying now. This is unacceptable. It is, I agreed. But I don't think firing them is the answer. I think education is. I pulled out my phone and opened a series of screenshots. Social media posts from customers, messages sent to our brand account, reviews left online. This isn't an isolated incident, I said, scrolling through. This is a pattern. And it's happening because we haven't properly trained staff on why this company exists. I read one message aloud. I wanted to love your store, but the saleswoman made me feel like I was too big to shop there. I left crying. Another. Do your employees not realize this brand is supposed to be size inclusive? Because I was definitely made to feel like I should shop somewhere else. The room was silent except for the sound of Chloe crying. Here's what's going to happen, I said, putting my phone away. Everyone on staff, every single person across all 3 stores, is going to go through mandatory sensitivity training. Not some online module you click through. Real training, facilitated by people who understand fat phobia and discrimination. Sophie nodded, taking notes. Second, we're implementing a new policy, anonymous feedback cards at the register. Customers can report their experience without fear of confrontation. Those cards come directly to me. More nodding. Third, I'm going to start doing regular mystery shops, unannounced, in plain clothes. If I find this happening again, there will be consequences, real ones. I turned to Madison and Chloe. You two are going to be part of developing the training materials. You're going to research size discrimination, read testimonies from plus-size women, and help create a program that ensures no one else on our staff treats customers the way you treated me. We will, Madison said, her voice thick. I promise. I'm so sorry. Don't apologize to me, I said. Apologize to every customer you've ever made feel small. And then do better. That's the only apology that matters. What I didn't tell them was that I'd been planning to fire them. I'd spent half the night drafting termination letters, consulting with my lawyer about whether I needed cause beyond made the owner feel like shit. But Jamie had said something that stuck with me. You can fire them and feel righteous for a day, or you can teach them and maybe change how they see the world forever. Which one actually serves your mission? So I chose the harder path, the one that required me to sit in a room with people who'd humiliated me and not let my anger win, to see them as whole people who'd made terrible choices, not villains beyond redemption. Over the next week, things started to change. Sophie sent me daily updates. Madison and Chloe had been researching tirelessly. They'd found articles, documentaries, first-person accounts from plus-size women about their experiences in retail. They'd discovered something I'd known for years, that the cruelty they'd shown me wasn't unique to them. It was systemic, everywhere. In every store, every brand, every space where fat bodies dared to exist. Madison sent me an email 10 days later. Subject line, "No words are enough." The email was long, raw, painful to read. She talked about her own relationship with her body, how she'd always been thin and had never questioned the privilege that came with it, how she'd absorbed messages about fat bodies without even realizing she was doing it. "I thought I was just being professional," she wrote. "I thought I was protecting expensive merchandise. I didn't realize I was protecting an idea of who deserves to wear beautiful things, and that idea was toxic." She didn't ask for forgiveness. She didn't make excuses. She just acknowledged the harm and promised to do better. Chloe's message was shorter but equally honest. "I laughed because I thought it made me fit in. I was cruel because I thought that's what cool people did. I'm ashamed that I was more worried about seeming cool than being kind." I printed both emails and put them in a folder, not to hold over their heads, but to remember, to document this moment of transformation. Because here's what I learned. People can change. Not always. Not everyone. But sometimes, if you give them the tools and the space and the reason why it matters, they can become different versions of themselves. And sometimes, teaching someone why they were wrong does more good than just removing them from your life. 3 weeks after that initial confrontation, I went back to the Williamsburg store. This time, I brought my mother with me. Mom was 72, had been plus-size her entire adult life, and had a lifetime of stories about being treated like she didn't matter. She'd passed that survival instinct down to me. Keep your head down, don't make waves, apologize for existing. I wanted her to see that we could demand better. When we walked in, Madison was helping a customer, a young woman, maybe early 20s, clearly nervous. I could see it in how she held her purse, how her shoulders hunched forward. "Take all the time you need," Madison was saying, her voice warm and genuine. "Everything in this store was designed for real women, which means it'll look beautiful on you. No pressure, no judgment. Just clothes that celebrate who you are." The young woman's face transformed. Her shoulders relaxed. She smiled. My mother squeezed my hand. "Did you tell her to say that?" "No," I whispered. "That's her understanding it." We watched for a few more minutes. Watched Madison help the young woman find dresses to try, talk to her like she was valuable and wanted and welcome. Watched the transformation happen in real time. When the customer left, with 3 dresses and a smile that could power the whole block, Madison finally noticed us. "Oh," she said, and for a moment I saw panic flicker across her face. Then something else, determination. "Welcome. Can I help you find anything?" My mother answered before I could. "I'd like to try on some of those dresses my daughter was just looking at." Madison's professional smile didn't waver. "Of course. Let me pull a few options for you. What styles do you usually gravitate toward?" For the next 30 minutes, I watched Madison do her job perfectly, attentively, kindly, the way she should have done it from the beginning. When Mom emerged from the dressing room in a stunning wrap dress, Madison actually teared up. "You look absolutely beautiful." And Mom, my mother who'd spent 72 years being told she'd be prettier if she lost weight, believed it. At the register, after Mom decided to buy 2 dresses, Madison looked at me directly. "Thank you." "For what?" I asked. "For not giving up on me. For teaching me instead of just firing me. I know I didn't deserve that grace." I thought about that. About grace. about who deserves it and who doesn't. Everyone deserves the chance to be better, I said. Not everyone takes it, but you did. After we left, Mom was quiet for a long time. Finally, she said, "That girl who helped me today, was she?" "Yes." "And you kept her employed?" "I did." Mom nodded slowly. "That took more strength than firing her would have." "Maybe. Or maybe I was just too tired to keep being angry." "Or maybe," Mom said, "you understood that hate won't fix hate. Only teaching can do that." We walked back to her car in silence, but it was a comfortable silence. The kind that sits between people who understand each other completely. Before she drove away, Mom said, "I'm proud of you, baby. Not for building a business, for building something that matters." And for the first time since this whole ordeal started, I cried. Not from hurt or anger or frustration, from relief, from the weight of making a hard choice, and maybe, just maybe, making the right one. I started making unannounced visits to all the stores, not to catch people doing wrong, but to see the change taking hold. The training program Madison and Chloe helped develop was rolled out across all locations. 2 full days of workshops, facilitated by a consultant who specialized in size discrimination in retail. Staff learned about implicit bias, about how fat phobia is built into every aspect of our culture, about the real harm that harmless comments can cause. They heard testimonies from plus-size women about their experiences shopping. They role-played difficult customer interactions. And most importantly, they learned why Vesper existed in the first place. Not just to sell clothes, but to dismantle the idea that fashion was only for certain bodies. One afternoon, I stopped by the original Brooklyn location. It was crowded, always a good sign. I hung back near the entrance, observing. A middle-aged woman entered hesitantly. I recognized that walk. The way she kept her arms close to her body, trying to take up less space. The way her eyes darted around, cataloging who was there, wondering if she'd be welcome. A sales associate, someone I'd hired last month named Precious, approached her immediately. But not with suspicion, with warmth. "Hi, welcome to Vesper. First time here?" The woman nodded, still guarded. "Okay, so here's what you need to know. Everything in this store goes up to a 6X. No separate section, no plus-size labels. Every style, every color, every size, all together. Because bodies aren't categories." The woman's face did something I'd seen 1,000 times. It softened. The defensive walls came down brick by brick. "Really?" "Really. And if you want help finding anything, I'm here. If you want to browse alone, that's cool too. No pressure. Just take your time and enjoy the space." I watched the woman's shoulders drop. Watched her actually smile. Watched her walk deeper into the store with something that looked like hope. I stood by the full-length mirror near the entrance, the one I'd had custom-made, specifically requesting glass that didn't distort, lighting that didn't exaggerate flaws. I'd hung a small plaque next to it that read, "You are the only person who gets to define your beauty." My reflection stared back at me. Same body that had walked into that Williamsburg store weeks ago. Same curves, same size, same person. But something in my face was different. I looked like someone who'd fought a battle and won. Not against Madison and Chloe, against the voice in my head that still, after all these years of success, sometimes whispered that I didn't belong in beautiful spaces. The woman who'd just entered caught my eye in the mirror. We were standing there together, 2 plus-size women in a space designed for us. She smiled at me. I smiled back. No words, just recognition. Just the understanding that we were both here, both taking up space, both refusing to apologize for it. That's what I'd built. Not just a store, a sanctuary, a place where that silent exchange could happen without shame attached to it. As I left, the door chime rang. that same ceremonial sound. But this time it felt different, like a church bell, like a celebration. I stood on the sidewalk for a moment, watching through the window as the woman tried on a jacket, as Precious helped adjust the shoulders, as they both laughed about something. And I thought, this is why we do it, not for the revenue or the Instagram followers or the press features. For this moment, repeated thousands of times across all our stores, where women learn they deserve beautiful things. 6 months after the incident, Vesper was thriving. We opened a 4th location in Los Angeles. Our online sales had doubled. We'd been featured in a documentary about body positivity and fashion. But more than the business metrics, something else had changed. The culture. The energy in our stores felt different. Lighter, safer. I started getting emails, hundreds of them. Women sharing their experiences shopping at Vesper. Not all of them were positive. Some pointed out areas where we still needed to improve, where staff had made mistakes, where the training hadn't fully taken hold. I read every single one, responded to every single one. Because accountability was an ongoing practice, not a one-time achievement. But many of the emails were from women who'd cried in our dressing rooms. Not from humiliation, but from relief. From finally finding a space that felt like it was made for them. One email stood out. It was from a woman named Patricia, age 56, from Queens. "I haven't bought new clothes in 8 years," she wrote. "Not because I couldn't afford them. Because every time I walked into a store, I felt like I was trespassing. Like I needed to apologize for existing in a space that wasn't designed for me. Yesterday, I walked into your store in Brooklyn. A young woman, I think her name tag said Madison, greeted me like I was someone worth greeting. She spent 45 minutes helping me find clothes that made me feel beautiful. I bought 5 pieces. But more than that, I bought back a piece of my dignity. I don't know if you'll read this, but if you do, please tell your staff thank you. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for making me feel like I deserve to be there." I printed that email, put it in the same folder as Madison and Chloe's apologies, a reminder of why the hard work mattered. Madison had become one of our best sales associates, not because she was trying to make up for what she'd done, but because she genuinely understood now. She'd done the internal work, read the books, examined her own biases, changed. Chloe had left after 3 months, not fired. She'd found a job at another fashion company and decided to move on. She sent me a thank you note before she left. "I won't ever forget what I learned here," she wrote. "I'm taking it with me. And I promise to call out fat phobia wherever I see it, because now I know what it looks like. Thank you for not giving up on me." I framed that note and hung it in my office. Not as a trophy, but as a reminder that teaching someone is a gift that keeps giving. That person goes out into the world and maybe teaches someone else. And the ripples continue. Sophie, the manager, had become one of my most trusted employees. She'd taken the incident personally, had overhauled hiring practices and training protocols. She'd created a culture where staff could call out discriminatory behavior without fear of retaliation. One day she called me, crying. "There's a woman here asking for you." "What happened?" "Nothing bad. She wanted to thank you. In person." I drove to the Williamsburg store. The woman was waiting, elderly, maybe 80, with carefully styled white hair and the most beautiful smile. "Are you the owner?" she asked. "I am. I wanted to tell you something. I have a granddaughter. She's 14, and she's bigger than the other girls in her class. She's been bullied. She's stopped eating lunch at school. She won't look in mirrors." The woman's voice cracked. "I brought her here last week. Your staff treated her like she was precious, like she mattered. She bought a dress, a beautiful dress. And when she put it on, she smiled. Do you understand?" She smiled at her own reflection. Tears were running down my face now. "I understand. She wore that dress to her school dance, and she told me, "Grandma, I felt pretty. Not pretty for a fat girl, just pretty." The woman grabbed my hands. "You gave her that. Thank you." After she left, I sat in the back office and sobbed. Not from sadness, from the weight of understanding what we'd built, how it rippled out beyond business metrics and revenue targets, how it changed lives in ways I'd never be able to fully measure. This was why I'd started, why I'd stayed up late sewing, why I'd maxed out credit cards and worked 3 jobs, for that 14-year-old girl, for Patricia from Queens, for my mother, for me, for every woman who'd ever been made to feel like she didn't deserve beautiful things. A year after the incident, I walked past the Williamsburg store late one evening. It was closed, the lights dim inside, the street quiet except for the usual Brooklyn soundtrack of distant traffic and closer conversations. I stopped to look at the window display. We'd just installed the fall collection. Mannequins of different sizes, something I'd insisted on from the beginning, wore rich jewel tones and layered textures. But what caught my eye was my own reflection in the glass, superimposed over the display, like a ghost inhabiting the space I'd created. I looked different than I had a year ago. Not physically. My body was roughly the same, but something in my face had changed, settled, found peace. I thought about Madison's laugh through the dressing room curtain, how it had felt like every laugh I'd ever heard at my expense, how it had threatened to break something in me that had taken decades to build. But it hadn't broken me. It had clarified something, shown me where the work still needed to happen, reminded me that creating inclusive spaces was an ongoing practice, not a destination you arrived at once and then forgot about. A woman walked by, noticed me staring at the window. "Great store," she said. "Changed my life, actually." "How so?" I asked, curious. I used to hate shopping. Panic attacks in dressing rooms, the whole thing. But here? I don't know. It's different. Like the clothes were actually designed for people, not just models. "That was the goal," I said. She looked at me more carefully. "Wait, are you?" "Yeah, I own it." Her face lit up. "Oh my God, thank you. Seriously, you don't know what it means to have a place like this exist." "I do, actually," I said. "That's why I made it." After she walked away, I turned back to my reflection. The mirror of the storefront held both images. The woman I'd been a year ago, humiliated and hurt, and the woman I was now, standing taller, breathing easier, taking up space without apology. The glass remembered it all. Every customer who'd walked through those doors, every interaction, kind or cruel, every moment of transformation. But mirrors don't judge, they just reflect. And what they reflected now was a space that had learned, that had grown, that was still imperfect but trying. I pressed my hand against the cool glass, a small gesture like leaving a handprint in wet cement. Proof that I was here, that I'd built this, that it mattered. Then I walked away, my footsteps echoing on the Brooklyn sidewalk, carrying me home to the life I'd built from nothing but determination and a sewing machine, and the absolute refusal to believe that people like me didn't deserve beautiful things. Success didn't come with a parade. It came quietly, in small moments scattered across ordinary days. It came in the form of my bank account finally being stable, of being able to hire an accountant and a lawyer, and not having to do everything myself at 2 a.m. But more than that, it came in the messages. The photos women sent me of themselves wearing our clothes, smiling genuinely, taking up space without apology. It came in the policy changes we implemented: mandatory sensitivity training for all new hires, anonymous feedback systems, regular pay audits to ensure equity, promotion tracks that valued emotional intelligence as much as sales numbers. It came in watching Madison train new employees, teaching them what she'd learned the hard way. Watching her interrupt a colleague who'd made an assumption about a customer's size. Watching her become an advocate. Success came in the form of my mother, who finally started buying clothes that fit, instead of wearing things 2 sizes too big to hide her body, who walked taller, who smiled more. It came in the 14-year-old girl's grandmother telling me about the school dance. In Patricia from Queens buying clothes for the first time in 8 years. In every woman who walked into our stores and felt safe. I learned that revenge is heavy. It's a weight you carry around, feeding it with your anger, letting it poison your peace. But transformation, helping people become better versions of themselves, that's light. That's freedom. I could have fired Madison and Chloe, could have posted about it on social media and watched the internet destroy them. Could have made an example out of them to show that I wouldn't tolerate discrimination. And maybe that would have felt good for a day, maybe a week. But then what? 2 people would have lost their jobs, learned nothing except that getting caught has consequences. They'd take their biases to their next job, their next interaction, their next opportunity to hurt someone. Instead, I chose the harder path. The one that required me to sit with my anger and not let it win. The one that asked me to see them as whole people capable of change, not just villains in my story. And they changed. Not perfectly, not overnight, but genuinely. I watched it happen in real time. Watched Madison become someone who actively interrupted fat phobia when she saw it. Watched Chloe carry those lessons to her next job. That was the real victory. Not that I owned the store where I'd been humiliated. Not that I had the power to fire the people who'd been cruel. The real victory was that I used that power to teach instead of punish, to build instead of destroy, to create change that would ripple out beyond my own hurt feelings. My grandmother, the one who told me to walk in like I owned the place, died the month before the incident. I wish she'd lived to see this, to see that her advice became literal, to see me own not just the place, but the aftermath. But maybe she did see it in some way. Maybe that's why I remembered her words in that moment when I wanted to leave. Maybe she was there in spirit, pushing me to stay, to stand tall, to not let anyone make me small. I visit her grave sometimes, bring flowers, tell her about the business. You were right, Grandma, I say to the stone. I walked in like I owned it, because I did. And I like to think she'd be proud, not of the revenue numbers or the press features, but of the choice I made to teach instead of tear down. To build something that would outlast my own hurt. I was humiliated in a store once, in my own store, by my own employees, in a space I'd built specifically so women wouldn't have to feel what I felt in that moment. They thought they were teaching me my place, teaching me that women who look like me don't belong in beautiful spaces, that our money is worth less, that we should be grateful for whatever scraps of fashion were offered. But all they taught me was where the work still needed to happen, where my mission hadn't fully taken root, where good intentions weren't enough without education and accountability. I used to walk into stores trying to take up less space, shoulders hunched, arms close to my body, apologizing with my posture for the crime of existing in a body that didn't conform. Now I walk in, remembering that space was never the problem. The problem was living in a world that told certain bodies they needed to earn their right to exist in it. The world will always have mirrors that lie to you, that show you distorted versions of yourself designed to make you want to change, to buy, to shrink, to disappear. But you can learn to build your own mirrors, ones that reflect not your flaws but your strength, not your size but your story, not your body but your worth. I no longer dress to hide. I dress to honor the body that carried me through every cruel laugh, every dismissive glance, every moment when I wanted to disappear. This body never betrayed me. I just needed to learn how to stay in it without apology. There's a particular kind of peace that comes when you stop needing external validation. When you realize that you don't need the world to see you, you just need to see yourself clearly. If this story touched you, if you've ever felt too big, too much, too visible in all the wrong ways. I want you to know something. You are not the problem. You never were. The problem is a system that profits from making you believe you need to change. A culture that teaches shame instead of celebration. A world that hasn't learned that bodies are not hierarchies. And if this story resonated with you, give it a like and subscribe. Not for me, though I appreciate it, but for every person who's ever shrunk themselves to fit into a space too small for their spirit. Let this be your reminder. You belong everywhere. In beautiful stores, in stunning clothes, in spaces that claim to care about fashion while forgetting that fashion should serve people, not the other way around. Madison and Chloe laughed at me once, whispered about me, made assumptions about my worth based on my size, and I could have destroyed them for it. But destruction is easy. Teaching is hard. They're different people now, not perfect, but better. And maybe they'll teach someone else, and that person will teach someone else. And slowly, quietly, the culture shifts. That's how change actually happens. Not in grand gestures or viral call-outs, but in small moments of choosing education over punishment, choosing grace over revenge, choosing to build instead of burn. I don't need anyone to know I own the store anymore. I don't need to prove my worth through my bank account or my business success. I don't need validation from people who once made me feel small. I just need to remember that I own my story, that my body is not an apology or an explanation, that I deserve beautiful things simply because I'm human, not because I've earned them through suffering or achieved some acceptable size. Dignity doesn't shout. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't need witnesses or applause. It simply stands tall in the middle of what once tried to break it, breathing steadily, refusing to bend. This was my story. The story of humiliation that became education, of pain that became purpose, of a moment that could have ended in revenge, but instead became transformation. I won't tell you it was easy. I won't tell you there weren't nights I lay awake, replaying the laughter, feeling the sting of being judged in the space I'd built with my own hands. But I will tell you this. Choosing to teach instead of punish was the hardest and best decision I've ever made. Because now, every woman who walks into that store benefits from that choice. If you're going through something similar, if someone has made you feel less than human because of your body, if you've been laughed at or dismissed or treated like you don't matter, listen to me. You are not the problem. Your body is not wrong. You do not need to earn your right to exist in spaces or wear beautiful clothes or be treated with basic dignity. Those things are your birthright, not something you achieve through weight loss or behavior modification or making yourself more palatable to people who've decided you're not worth their kindness. Build your own mirrors. Surround yourself with people who see you clearly. Create spaces where you feel safe. And when you have power, use it to lift others up, not tear them down. Thank you for listening to my story, for being here, for being part of a community that believes every body deserves respect, beauty, and space. We'll see each other in the next story. And remember, these stories may weigh heavy, but they don't have to crush us. They can instead teach us, strengthen us, remind us that we're capable of transforming pain into something that helps others. And that transformation, that's the real victory.